Wow, what an hour this has been. First of all, Dakota, thanks very much for joining us. I asked you how the internet has changed this realm that we deal with, in your opinion. I believe there's a lot of good that has come from it, but I also think that there's a lot of misinformation out there. How do listeners, viewers, readers, how do they decide who's legit and who's just yanking their chain?
I think the best quote I ever heard to describe the internet is mankind's greatest experiment in anarchy. It's honestly hard to
Yeah.
tell. And one thing I personally witnessed is that there's a lot of very credible people that go to discuss about this thing. They do their best to try to bring as much evidence forward to back up what they're saying.
Mm-hmm.
But in the same time, when it comes to all these people that go to spread misinformation and how easy it is for just about anybody to build a platform these days,
Yeah.
unfortunately, there's a lot that gets done to try to discredit what's real out there. And a lot of people get confused. The main thing I really encourage people is to try to follow the science as best as possible and watch who sticks to their story. And simply put, there's only the test of time is the only thing that really stands out.
Do you think that these ETs pose a threat to humanity and to national security?
In the sense of national security, they do technically pose a threat, being that their technology is just vastly superior. And when it comes to world governments these days, they're very easily intimidated when someone has better toys. But by all accounts, at least a good majority of any negative ETs have been kicked out. What remains are the ones who want to be here, who want to try to help us. Many of them may even be walking the streets as we speak, and we don't realize it.
How many different types of alien races do you believe that this planet is being visited by, or that are actually here with us without our knowledge?
The ones that are here with us are likely the ones that would be the closest related. They could pass off as everyday humans. They might look a little funny. Their eyes may be a little wider apart. They might have, gorgeous blonde hair. They might just be extremely attractive looking. And it's not going to be until you're face to face with these beings that you kind of get this vibe off of them. Like, where are you from? It's not necessarily a bad feeling. It's just, you just know almost intuitively that they're not from around. As far as go to put a number on how many species interact with this planet, it's easily within the hundreds.
Really?
Yeah.
Why don't the main species, or if there is such a thing, why don't they just come forward and say, hey guys, we're here. We've been here watching. You know what? You're screwing up your planet. You're going to screw up our future. So why don't you get your cards in order? And why don't we all sit at a table and work this out? Why don't they just land and prove their existence instead of keeping the charade going, or trying to keep behind the curtain so that we don't know who the man really is?
It gets to be a point where they realize it's going to be a shock value if they go to do that just up front. World government, let's talk about Ronald Reagan. He's spoke several times that the one thing that's probably going to unite the governments of this world is some outside alien threat.
Yeah, but he wasn't talking. Yeah, but he was talking about Donald Trump at the time. So
allegedly, Trump is in cahoots with them. So who knows anymore?
Oh, that was a cheap shot. I'm sorry to all my American listeners. That was cheap. I'm sorry.
As far as why they don't just come up and show, allegedly, but sometime within the next couple of years, they're getting ready to start showing themselves in full force. And right now, it's getting to be a point where, again, allegedly, they're going to start showing themselves in the skies a bit more to try to warm us up, because they realize that if they were to show up now, there's still very fragile belief systems that might cause some very unintended effects as far as when it comes to religious systems.
Yeah, but But by not presenting themselves and saying, "Look, we're here," and just by doing this little bit of, "I'm here, no, I'm not. I'm here, no, I'm not." Doesn't that start to put the people into a state of mind that, am I going crazy? Are they real? Are they here? They're not here. Aren't they doing more damage, more harm than good by doing it that way?
In many ways, it can be, but it's the one way they know to at least encourage the conversation, to get people to wake up.
Tell me about your episode on a UFO. What do they look like? Are they the UFOs that we see pictures of? Are they round, circular? Do they have little saucer tops? Are they the UFOs like we've seen in Close Encounters? What do they look like?
They can look like just about anything. When it comes to space travel, there's no real need to be concerned about drag or anything like that. Why airplanes have their designs now. I've seen triangles. I've been able to. Now, unfortunately, a lot of the videos I got, you only see it as a bright light in the sky that's obviously moving independently, and it's making maneuvers that no airplane that's readily available should be able to make. I mean, just the other night, there was this one craft I watched fly through the air, then all of a sudden take a 90-degree turn out of the blue. And I'm just like,
wow.
Why do they always show up when I don't have my good cameras on me?
Mm-hmm. What's your take on Area 51?
It's been over publicized, but there is a very legitimate craft there.
Yeah. When you're inside a UFO, what does it feel like? What's the air like? Are there any smells that are distinguishable and unique to being inside the UFO?
There's almost a sense of overly clean. There's special precautions taken to try to make it where any species can come on board without having too many issues as far as their own physiology. They have equipment to help any species that are used to planets with weaker gravity be able to not get crushed when they go to a planet that has higher gravity, and vice versa. They also have special drinks that honestly taste very good to help with travel sickness.
What's the longest length of time that you have been on a UFO?
That's where it gets tricky, because there is an aspect of time dilation.
Mm-hmm.
The longest it felt like to me was a few days, but back on Earth, it will only seem like a few hours.
So when you're in the UFO for a couple of days, are you in kind of like a cabin, like we'd be on a cruise, where there's bed, where there's how are you treated?
I'm treated like an old friend, which is one of the things that always kind of surprised me. These beings would always approach me like I was an old friend they hadn't seen in a long time. And there's been times where I was able to pilot the craft myself. And the way that works, it can physically integrate with the body to where you can control the movements with your mind.
You think it does it?
Yeah.
So it's like a symbiotic relationship between you and the craft.
Yep.
What was it like the first time that you took control of this craft? And there you were, an earthling, and you're aboard this craft. You're part of this craft.
It was an adrenaline rush. It was absolutely thrilling, overwhelming, because it would almost feel like I was becoming the craft itself. I honestly don't know how to really describe it.
We're coming to the end of the hour, and what are your final thoughts? What is the message that you would like to share with the X-Zone Nation tonight, Dakota?
If anything, the last few years have shown us is that there's nothing that's truly impossible anymore. Keep yourself an open mind. Yes, it's probably going to get chaotic, but there are incredible things coming that are going to change how this world is forever.
Are there any special books or any Any organizations that you would recommend to people listening tonight who might want more information than they think is available to them?
There's one book. It is called A Gift from the Stars. It is by my friend Elena Dinan. She is another contactee who has some of the most incredible stories. Following a lot of her advice, I've had her on my show quite a few times. Pretty much whenever she and I go to enter a room together, something always weird always happens. There's been points where our community being able to talk on platforms like this, for some reason she would be cut off from hearing my voice, but she would be able to hear everything my co-host would say just fine. I honestly would recommend checking her out. I'm personally writing a book. It should be out come summer 2024. It's called I Know You Won't Believe Me, where I go more in depth about my stories to try to maybe help people figure out how to piece things together and hopefully help them out in ways that a lot of these organizations that are out there simply won't.
Got about a minute and a half here. What are your plans for the future, my friend?
Just to keep exploring, looking into a possible alleged inner Earth entrance that's not too far from me that may actually be connected to my abduction. I don't know the full details yet, but it's just simply keep going out there and keep exploring, because who knows what's going to truly come next.
So this ties us into the inner Earth theory as well.
Yeah.
Wow. It's been great having you on the show for this hour. Please come back again and see us. Always great hearing these stories. And once again, quickly give our listeners your contact info. Oh, God bless you there.
You can find me at www.baldingbonkers.net. That'll be able to take you to all the social media pages we're on. You can find us on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or X, whatever the heck it's wanting to be called. All of our contact information is going to be there. If you want to reach out, come on a show, or if you feel like I can maybe help you with the situation you got going on, let me know. I'm more than happy to do what I can for you. All
right, my friend. Take care of yourself. Great seeing you, and thank you for sharing this hour with us.
I'm sorry I lost your audio there. What?
I was just saying thanks very much for being with us tonight. Okay. Take care. All right, Exo Nation, I'll be back on the other side of this commercial break with the news as we continue right here from our broadcast center and studios in beautiful St. Catharines, Ontario. I'm Rob McConnell. Don't go away.